The requirement of being treated as an individual is one of the necessary steps in the development of the human.
All humans have equal rights to pursue life, liberty, and happiness. Governments are created and are granted with powers by man in order to preserve these equal rights. Therefore, people have rights to depart from the government when it corrupts. People could establish a new government which regulates the rules and powers that affect their lives, liberty, and happiness. In a common perspective, people should not overthrow a long-established government because they prefer to suffer endurable misery and tend to stay unchangeable. However, in order to sustain the future security, people have the duty to abolish the usurpation in tyrannical government.
Now, here are the evidences of the king's tyrannical action.
He rejected the law which protected the public.
He ignores the laws which are needed to pass, and also he would not follow the laws even though he had passed them.
He refused to pass other laws unless people renounce the legislative rights, which is a threat of his tyranny.
He makes the meeting at some weird place so that the legislative bodies would be told to join the meeting.
Restricting the people's rights, he dismissed the representative houses repeatedly.
He refused anyone else to be elected to make legislative powers unable to rule over him, and as a result, the state is ruled under dictatorship government.
Impeding the immigration of the foreigners and aiming at levying lands, he restricted the population of the colonial states.
The rights of laws, so no establishing judiciary powers would rule over him.
He made arbitrary judgments for the profits and dictatorship of his officers alone.
He wasted the positions of people to some unneeded stuff, such as a bunch of new offices.
He kept armies in our states even in peacetime, despite our legislative laws.
He has tried to make him superior to the civil power, to the law.
He restricted our jurisdiction with legislation that contradict our laws.
He set up armed troops among people
for protecting the mothers that harmed the colonials.
He does not allow us to trade with other countries.
For imposing tax without permissions.
He forbids the rights of us.
For transporting us beyond seas for trials on unwarranted charges.
He gives no free government to us and establishes a dogmatic government instead.
For abolishing our charters, opposing our laws, and changing our forms of government.
He takes the right of setting up laws away from us and declares that he should be the one who gives us laws.
Claiming war against us and giving up his protection of us, he relinquished his duty on our governments.
He takes over our seas and destroys all living place and all lives.
He employed foreign armies to ruin and slaughter our people. His cruelty was as that in uncivilized age, which resulted him to be unqualified as a leader of a civilized nation.
He forces the citizens to fight against our countries and makes us kill each other.
He has inspired turbulence among us and has encouraged cruel Indians who slaughter all ages and sexes in their wars.
We failed to ask for no operations, though with the most humble words, and even got hurt from require equal treatment. Therefore, it is obviously to tell that the king is the tyrant.
Nor have we been concerning about our brothers in England. We have warned them that their legislature holds jurisdiction over us and have notified them our immigration conditions.
We have cherished their righteousness and
generosity.
We have pledged them to abandon usurpation in order to maintain our connection. Therefore, we claim our separation from them and would treat them as we treat the rest of the world, enemies in war and friends in peace.
Therefore, under the righteousness of our General Congress and the good colonists, as the representatives of the United States of America, we gravely declare that the independence and the separation of the colonial states from British government.
People would no longer need to advocate the British authorities. Like in other independent states, we would also have rights to declare wars, to conclude an alliance, to have trade relationship, and to have other actions that a free nation could do. We firmly rely on God's blessing and mortgage this declaration with our lives, properties, and divine faith.